This is WIS News 10.
We are now just 1 hour away from a new year. Thank you for joining us for WIS News at 11. I'm Chad Mills. We start tonight with breaking news. A toddler in Kershaw County drowned tonight in the 25-mile creek near Frinwood Lane in Lugoff. The coroner says the boy was staying with his grandmother. He says the grandmother was in the back of the house looking after another child when the 2-year-old boy went out the front door. Once family members realized he was missing, they called 911 around 4:30 this evening. After about a 3-hour search, bloodhounds were able to track him down near the creek. This incident is still under investigation there in Kershaw County. Well, if you're a Clemson Tiger, there's a lot to celebrate tonight. The Tigers got it done in Arizona with a shutout performance. You see some of the video that's just come down of the celebration there in Arizona. Now they're prepared for a big rematch in the national championship game. The football team knocked off another big-name opponent in the postseason. Sports director Rick Henry is here now, and saying they won big is kind of an understatement.
Well, you know, in recent years, Chad, Clemson has post-Christmas wins over LSU, Oklahoma, and now Ohio State twice. Clemson earns a trip to the national championship game for the second straight year. They advanced tonight by defeating Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl. We'll pick up the action in the first quarter. Clemson quarterback Deshaun Watson, advanced native Mike Williams. That's good for a 37-yard gain to the Ohio State 30. A few plays later, Blythewood's Greg Hugel will get the first points of the game with a 45-yard field goal, 3-0 Clemson. Now Watson will hurt the Buckeyes running and throwing. The one-yard touchdown gives the Tigers a 10-0 advantage. Second quarter, Watson takes off on a big journey. He runs about 80 yards around the field for a gain of 33 to the Ohio State 33. Watson caps off the drive with a 30-yard scoring strike to C.J. Fuller. Clemson hits halftime, leading the Buckeyes 17-0. Third quarter, Watson from 7 yards out is 24-0, and it's party time in the desert. Clemson wins it 31-0. They will have a rematch with Alabama in the national championship game. Joe Gorshow is on the road with the Tigers. We'll send him out now. We'll send it out now to Joe for some post-game reaction. Joe?
Rick, the celebration is on for the Clemson Tigers. You know, back in January when they played in the desert and lost to Alabama right here, there were no smiles, no celebration. Tonight, it's redemption in the desert, and they will be able to seek revenge in Tampa against the Crimson Tide in the national championship game on January 9th. Now, the key tonight for the Clemson Tigers' victory really was their defense. Early on, when Deshaun Watson threw that interception in the first quarter, you thought maybe OSU would begin to seize momentum. The Tigers' defense would not allow the Buckeyes to budge a yardage scene. They only had 8 rushing yards total in the first half, finished with under 100 yards rushing. That has to be a season low for the Buckeyes. They controlled the line of scrimmage. They accepted the challenge of facing a powerful ground game in Ohio State. Watson, as always this season, resilient. Even though he had a couple bumps along the road tonight, throwing 2 interceptions, he was magnificent with his legs and even in the air, throwing for 259 yards, 1 score, and added 2 more on the ground. All that success for Watson, the offense and the defense tonight, leads them back to the national championship, and they could not be more thrilled to experience this moment here tonight, becoming Fiesta Bowl champions.
You know, God don't make mistakes. He put us in this position for a reason. And, you know, honestly, I think he's smiling on Clemson University. So we go back to work and celebrate this one and get ready for Bama.
Hey, everybody, this is our 5th bowl win in a row, beating Ohio State twice, LSU and Oklahoma twice. All right? Sooner or later, people are going to realize that Clemson is an elite program that has done unbelievable things on and off the field. And the credit goes to the good Lord and to all these players and the former players, because this didn't start this year. This started in 2009.
You can hear Dabo Swinney talk about that chip on Clemson's shoulders. They always play as if no one respects what they've accomplished. You have to now. They're going back to the national championship game for the 2nd consecutive season. A big reason why, their defensive play tonight, not allowing Ohio State to do much of anything, holding them to 0 points. Now, when I return later in sports, we'll talk more about tonight's defensive effort, along with Orangeburg native Jadar Johnson, who backed up his talk from earlier in the week to help the Clemson Tigers seal the victory in the desert. Rick, back to you.
All right, yeah, certainly a great time for Clemson out there in the desert. Now it's on to Tampa for a rematch with Alabama.
That's right, a big game coming up. Appreciate it, Rick. You and Joe will have more in sports.
Yes, sir, we will.
All right. Send it over to Vaughn for a look at forecast.
All right, now here's another group of folks having a great time this evening. We're looking at folks downtown celebrating the new year. Of course, we don't have long to go before we're celebrating 2017. So let's find out how it feels out there. Feels like 46 degrees in downtown Columbia and over in Lexington. If you're watching from the comfort of your home, you're probably nice and toasty, but Newberry's 41 along with Saluda, and 46 for you in Sumter right now, and also in Manning. Now, I want you to see how the clouds are in place for us here in and around the capital city, but look at all the rain that's hanging back towards Alabama and towards Georgia. This is all going to slip into South Carolina, and this will bring some major changes into the forecast over the next several days. So the light spotty sprinkles can't be ruled out, so you may get 1 or 2 showers before it's all said and done. But tomorrow, once we transition into the early morning hours, it looks like we will see a few showers starting to move in, which will give us some decent rain. That rain will get heavy at times. 7 o'clock in the morning, you could even run into a downpour for the Sunday morning commute, even though most of you will be at home for your Sunday. And then by the time we get to 3 o'clock, we could even hear a few rumbles of thunder. For tonight, going down to 45 degrees, 59 for you tomorrow, 60% chance you'll run into some showers, and then 52 for tomorrow night. We're going to talk about the New Year's forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Vaughn, for that. Hundreds here in downtown Columbia likely keeping their eyes on the sky this evening. Our Caroline Patrikas is live just a couple blocks away from WIS, where famously hot New Year celebration is already in progress. Caroline.
Well, Chad, as that midnight hour approaches, of course, the crowd tonight is growing, and we've been walking around for most part of the evening. Thousands are joining, and, you know, we've been talking with some people and just kind of hearing why they're out here, what brings them. So we met this family, Josie and Adrian, and, of course, all of the others. And, Josie, you told me something special brings you guys out all the way out here today.
Yes, my grandson will be 12 years old at 12:01 tonight.
Okay, and tell me, is it your first time out here at the famously hot New Year's Eve event?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is this all you've ever wanted for your birthday, or what?
Yes, ma'am.
Where are you from?
Originally Carlisle, South Carolina, and Winsboro.
Okay, so tell us why you chose this event to celebrate his birthday.
My best friend of 40 years Googled it because we were on a train coming back from Pennsylvania, so she found something fun for him to do, and it's at the state capitol, and I thought it would be good for the kids.
And you're wanting to see those fireworks?
That's at 12 o'clock because it's his birthday at 12:01.
All right, happy birthday. And so that's just the kind of people, the kind of energy that you're experiencing out here, Chad. And you'll take a look down this way. You'll see the stage is over there to the left towards Gervais and Sumter. Of course, we haven't seen Trombone Shorty take the stage yet. He's the main headliner. And we also spoke with Columbia Police earlier tonight. They say no arrests or incidents to speak of out here tonight. So it seems like everyone is just out here having a good time and waiting, of course, for midnight to strike and the fireworks to set off. Chad, I'll send things back to you in the studio.
All right, Caroline, it looks like a lot of people are having fun out there tonight. Some families also had fun on Main Street for some Main Street ice. The event had some cool inflatables, games, food, and of course, ice skating. Guests had the chance to compete on an inflatable track, ride a mechanical bull, and show off their dance skills in a Just Dance competition. That event wrapped up just about an hour ago. Stick with us. Von Gaskin will have more after the break. Developing right now, New Year's celebrations turned deadly in Istanbul, Turkey this evening. The governor there says 35 are dead after an attack on a nightclub, 40 more wounded in that assault. The governor called it a terror attack, but didn't say who he thinks is responsible. Turkish media reports said more than one attacker may have been involved and more than 500 people were inside the club at the time. Holiday gatherings of large crowds means extra security, but even more protective measures are being put in place for New York's festivities and other festivities around the world, including European capitals and the United States. The move follows several terrorist attacks across Europe. Chris Welch has the latest details on what measures are being put in place.
As New Year's celebrations around the world are well underway, cities across the United States are putting the finishing touches on their own. A major part of those celebrations this year, beefed up security. Authorities in New York City are deploying 7,000 officers to help keep the expected 2 million partygoers safe in Times Square tonight. And for the first time, there will also be sand trucks, 65 of them, in fact, staged around the area. The NYPD chief says while there is no credible threat to the area, the city won't be taking any chances.
As we formulated this year's plan, we paid close attention to world events and we learned from those events. And this year, due to the terrorist attacks in Nice, France, and in Berlin, Germany, we've enhanced our security measures.
Officials in Pasadena, California say they're also taking into account the use of vehicles in recent terror attacks as they prepare for Monday's Rose Parade and Rose Bowl football game.
We'll have, for example, an on-site threat assessment center. So through our cooperation with the federal government, we'll be able to have analysts who will give us real-time information about potential threats to the Rose Parade or the Rose Bowl game.
But more than anything, law enforcement everywhere is asking for the community's assistance and for anyone to report anything suspicious to authorities, helping to ensure a safe and happy New Year's. From Times Square, I'm Chris Welch.
Making sure you get home safe is a big concern during the New Year's celebrations. KW Beverage is joining forces with Checker Yellow Cab to make sure you don't drink and drive. Cabs will be stationed at 3 locations Saturday and Sunday between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. Those locations are near the Fountain in 5 Points, near Tin Roof in the Vista, and on Lady Street between Main and Sumter Streets. Coming up in sports, the Clemson Tigers are going to a championship game after a brutal victory over the Ohio State Buckeyes. Coming up, sports director Rick Henry has a look at how they got it done.
2 touchdowns. Clemson is making a return trip to the national title game. The Tigers advance tonight by crushing Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl. Clemson takes the field at University of Phoenix Stadium. This is the same site where they lost last season's national championship game. We'll pick up the action in the first quarter. Deshaun Watson looking for Mike Williams. Williams slips, and the pass is picked off by Garyon Conley. Watson has a look of disbelief. Watson and Williams will make this connection. The Lake Marion High grad makes the grab for a 37-yard gain all the way to the Buckeyes 30. And that will set up Blythewood's Greg Hugel for a 45-yard field goal. 3-0 Clemson. The Tigers hold the Buckeyes to 8 yards rushing in the first half. Cleveland Farrell throws Curtis Samuel for an 8-yard loss. Watson has 42 yards rushing in the first half, including this 1-yard TD run to make it 10-zip. Lower Richland's Marcus Edmond with a big stop, tackling Mike Weber for a 3-yard loss. Second quarter, Watson will lead the Tigers on another scoring drive. Here is one of the longest 33-yard runs you'll ever see. When he finally goes out of bounds on the other side of the field, Watson is at the Ohio State 33. He will then go to the air to C.J. Fuller, who will make a nice catch in the end zone. The 30-yard TD reception makes it 17-0 Clemson at the half. Third quarter, Watson dashing in from 7 yards out to make it 24-0. Total domination by Clemson as they thrash Ohio State 31-0. The Tigers are 13-1 and headed back to the national championship game. Joe Garcho is on the road with the Tigers. He joins us live from Glendale, Arizona with our post-game report. And Joe, that was one mighty impressive defensive performance tonight by the Tigers.
Rick, they were truly dominating. I don't know if anyone expected them to control the line of scrimmage in the trenches the way they did tonight against Ohio State. Remember, Buckeyes came into this game ranked 9th in the nation in rushing, and tonight Clemson held them to under 100 yards. Truly a phenomenal performance from that defense. You know, earlier in the week, Jadar Johnson questioned J.T. Barrett's ability to really throw the ball with precision, and tonight Clemson's defense held and did not allow Ohio State to do much of anything on that side of the ball. Offensively, they took advantage of opportunities when they had them, and it led to a thrashing of the Buckeyes, a 31-0 victory. How special is it?
It feels great, man. I'm glad those boys have my back like that, because that would have went so wrong if we wouldn't have did what we did tonight. But, you know, we just trusted the preparation and all the hard work we put in. We knew we was capable of having an excellent game like this, and we just came out and did it.
When we play Clemson defense, man, I feel like we can't be beat. You know, we play good on each level, up front. You know, the linebackers, the secondaries played a great job.
It's a special moment, man. Just to get back out here in Arizona and just come out with a W, it's a special moment. You know, we was talking about getting back here since the beginning of the season. We here, we won, so now it's back to the national championship.
Just ready for everything they're going to throw at us. So we're just ready for everything. We've been working our butts off, grinding, practicing, putting in the hours when no one's looking, and it showed tonight.
You have to be impressed with a few things here. My first takeaway is Deshaun Watson's ability to always keep his composure. Although he threw that interception in the first quarter, another one later in the first half, he never was rattled. He always responded to lead the Tigers back on offense and put up touchdowns with his feet and in the air. Truly remarkable the way he just always stays calm, even if he makes a mistake or two throughout the game. The other one is how the Tigers handle this entire journey up to this point. The beginning of the season had all the expectations, all the pressure on them to get back to this moment and deliver to reach the national championship game. They handled each obstacle very well, and tonight they dominated the Buckeyes to punch a ticket back to the national championship game to face Alabama, the team that defeated them in the desert a year ago. Now the Tigers get redemption in Arizona, and they're headed to Tampa to try to thrash the Tide. On the road with the Tigers, Joe Gorcho, WIS News 10 Sports.
And the other national semifinal game had top-seeded Alabama against Washington. Fourth quarter, Bo Scarborough takes off on a 68-yard touchdown run. The Crimson Tide go up 24-7, and they go on to win it by that same score. Alabama's 14-0. They'll go to Tampa looking for their second straight national title and fifth in the last 8 years. The USC women's basketball team begins defense of their SEC championship tomorrow. The Gamecocks host Alabama at 2 p.m. in the conference opener. Sixth-ranked USC has won back-to-back SEC championships. The rest of the conference is probably getting tired of seeing South Carolina hoist the trophy and party in the confetti. I asked the Gamecocks if they're beginning to feel like the villains that everyone wants to capture and punish just because of their success.
I don't think necessarily that we're villains. Maybe the team, I do feel like sometimes we do have a target on our back. Everybody's going to come out and play their best game against us. And I think the fans kind of see that. I think they're standing by us, by our side. At least our fans are. I don't know about anybody else.
We're definitely the hunted. I think, what we've been able to do over the past few seasons in our league, forces teams to want to beat us and want to take us down. But it's the cards we've been dealt. We've had very good success in our league, and hopefully we can continue that.
All right, so again, Clemson Tigers, another big win, 31-0 over Ohio State. They're moving on to Tampa in the national championship game against Alabama on January 9th.
Question is, are they better poised to win it all this year?
I think so. Sometimes in order to win a championship, you have to lose one. And so they've been there, done that, except win. So now all they have to do is win.
All right, we'll be right back with a final check of the forecast.